Hi everyone, we're going to do some science today and we're going to do an investigation. So you will need to get some things to use and you'll need to just double check with an adult before you do this. Obviously if your adult's working with you that's fine, but if you are working on your own today, you need to just double check with your adult that they know what you're going to be doing and that it's okay for you to use the different things for our investigation that you will need. Okay, first thing first then. So, how can we create bubbles? I don't want you to write anything down for this. I'd just like you to have a think or have a chat to the person next to you. How can we make bubbles when we are at home? What do we use? Or maybe when we're in school, what could we use to make different types of bubbles? Okay, secondly then, what makes a good bubble mixture? So when you think of bubbles, what springs to mind? How could you describe them? What would you want your perfect bubbles to look like? So what sort of properties would you be looking for? Again, you don't need to write anything down for this. Just pause the video and have a chat or have a think about what would you look for to make a good bubble mixture. Okay, so finally then, how can we investigate which bubble mixture is best? So I'd like you to have a think about the properties that you just said would make the best bubble mixture, and then use those to think about how we could investigate which bubble mixture is best. Again, you don't need to write anything down for this. You can just talk to the person next to you or have a little think if you are working on your own today. Okay. Good job. So today we are going to test different types of products. So here is some examples of the types of products you might want to use. These are the products that I had at home that I used when I did this investigation. So as you can see, there's four products on the slide, but I only had 3 different types of soap. So I only used 3. So I'd now like you to pause the video and with your adult, make sure you get your adult's permission. Can you go around your house and have a look for the different types of soap that you have got? So, for example, I've got washing up liquid, hand soap and shower gel. You might also have bubble mixture or something else that you'd like to use. I'd suggest maybe 3 or 4. I wouldn't do any more than that. And have a look. So pause the video and have a look for different types of bubble mixture now. Good job. Okay, so now you have got the different types of bubbles that we're going to be testing today. Well, first thing we need to do is make our predictions. So into your books, I would like you to write your predictions. And to do that, you're going to complete these sentences. So I think the foamiest bubbles will be the, I think the smallest bubbles will be the, I think the biggest bubbles will be the, and I think the longest lasting bubbles will be the. So as you can see, I've written in my book, I've done my predictions here. I think the foamiest bubbles will be the washing up liquid. I think the smallest bubbles will be the hand soap. I think the biggest bubbles will be the shower gel. And I think the longest lasting bubbles will be the washing up liquid. So that top section there is my predictions. And then underneath, I've just started writing the sentences so that I can write the results once I do when I'm doing the investigation. So I'd like you now to pause the video and using the different soaps that you've got out, complete these predictions, complete these sentences to make your predictions. So you're going to write them into your catch-up book. You can pause the video now and have a go. Okay, so the other equipment that you will need for this investigation. So you should have your soaps ready to go. You will also need some water. You might want a measuring jug to do this if you've got one. Because I was only filming with one hand and I only had one measuring jug, it was easier for me to just get a normal jug of water. But equally, you could just use the tap, or if you've got a measuring jug and you'd like to measure out your water, you can do that as well. You will need the same number of bowls as you have for your soap. So because I had 3 different types of soap, I've got 3 bowls. If you had 4 different types of soap, you would need 4 bowls. And finally, some sort of spoon that you can use to sort of zhuzh up the bubbles. You can use your hands to do this, but obviously it might get quite messy. So I would suggest maybe using a spoon. and just have a think about where you're going to do this investigation, because when I did it, I managed to get water on the table. So have a little think about where you're going to do it. If you haven't got your resources ready now, please pause the video and go and get them. And then I will talk you through what you need to do. Okie doke. So here is my video of me doing my investigation. I will just play it so you guys know what you're doing. You don't have to do it at the same time as me. If you want to, of course, you can pause and do that, but I will just play the video and talk through it. And then once we've done this, you can go and have a go on your own. Okay. So I've got my resources ready, as you can see. I've laid my bowls out ready. So I've got my hand soap with the bowl for it. I've got my shower gel ready, again with a separate bowl. And for the third bowl, I've got some washing up liquid. I've also got my water ready and my spoon, and the tablecloth is waterproof, so that's a bonus. Okay, the first thing you're going to do is take the lock off the soap. If you've got lock on your soap, that would have been handy. Squirt a small amount of soap or a small amount of your product into each bowl. Try and get an equal amount of each product into the bowl to keep it fair. And then you're going to take your water, and as I said before, if you would like to measure out your water to make sure you put exactly the same amount in each bowl, then you can do that. But because I was trying to record and I only had one hand, it was much simpler for me to do it this way. So it's entirely up to you how you'd like to do that. Of course, if you want to keep it a fair test, the best way would be to measure out your water, but that's not crucial for this investigation. Then you're going to take your spoon and zhuzh up the bubbles. You can use your hand for this if you want to, like when you're running a bath, but just be careful because you obviously will need to dry your hands afterwards. As you can see, I managed to splash water everywhere, so please make sure you're being careful and that you've got your adult with you whilst you're doing this. Make sure you do each one, and again, try and keep the same amount of zhuzhing time for each bowl so that it's fair. And then that is your investigation done. So you can take your book where you had your predictions and you wrote your the beginning of your sentences for your results, and you can start to answer them. You might want to have a discussion about this and give it a couple of minutes to see which ones do the best. And then I left it for about 10 minutes. I left the 3 bowls for about 10 minutes, and I came back and I had a look at which bubbles had lasted the longest to complete my final result. And then I just compared my results to my predictions to see if I'd got any right. So I'd completed my sentences. The foamiest bubbles were the shower gel, the smallest bubbles were the hand soap, the biggest bubbles were the shower gel, and the longest lasting bubbles were the shower gel. So the shower gel was definitely the best bubble mixture to use in my house. Your house might be completely different though, so please don't copy my results because I'm sure yours will be different. Okie doke. So write down your results from your investigation and compare them with your predictions, and you could write a sentence to tell me which one was the best bubble mixture to use. Okay, that's our investigation done. So go and have a go at this. Make sure that you are double checking it's all okay with your adult, of course. And we've got a small plenary to do once you come back. So you can pause the video and have a go at your investigation, and then we will carry on. Okay, finally then, you might not be able to do this now, but maybe next time you have a bath, or if it's suitable to do it now, that would be great. But have a go at turning the lights off and looking at the bubbles with a torch. What colours do you see? Do the bubbles form patterns? Do they swirl and change? So that's a little challenge for you all to have a go at some point. You could write down the things you see if you want to underneath your investigation. What colours can you see? What patterns can you see? Think of your adjectives. How could you describe the bubbles through the torch? Okay, well done today, guys. I hope you had fun. It's Miss Dullum from tomorrow, so I will see you from next week. Have a lovely week if I don't speak to you sooner. Take care. Goodbye.